Hello everyone, Mr. McTidge here. At times I come across an album or a song that requires so much more than a simple review, but rather a proper, in-depth analysis on everything it manages to achieve in order for me to fully express why I consider it such an outstanding piece of music. One of these pieces of music, as the one I will be analysing today, is the 8th track from the alternative rock band Hacker's debut album Inhibition, The Wit of The Staircase, which I have come to believe is one of the best alternative rock songs of all time. In this analysis, I will be analysing both the instrumentation and the lyrics of The Wit of the Staircase and how they create a psychologically complex and symbolically powerful narrative. The name of the singer for Hacker is Josh Klinghoffer, and so I will analyse how he portrays himself as well through the lyrical eye. Please note, for the sake of brevity, I will refer to the persona he portrays in this song as Klinghoffer himself, rather than constantly saying Klinghoffer's persona. And with that, let's start unpacking this fascinating song. The first verse and chorus sets up the scenario of the song well, as Klinghoffer mournfully sings, "I said my goodbyes, didn't I? I should have said it before I'd gone." It's clear this song is about the disintegration of a relationship, but the opening question and statement, "I should have said it before I'd gone," immediately introduces the theme of regret before ending the chorus on the titular hook, "That's the wit of the staircase." The staircase is one of the most fundamentally important and complex symbols in the song, and so I'm going to take a bit of time to properly explain it before analysing how it relates to the rest of the song. All of the clues as to how the staircase should be initially conceived as a concept is suggested in the opening verse and chorus. Because we know the song is about the disintegration of a relationship, and as far as we know, it was Klinghoffer who made the conscious decision to end the relationship, the action of walking down the staircase itself represents the disintegrating of the relationship. You may think that this is a bit of a logical jump to make initially, but associating psychological states of mind with symbolism is well documented in psychology and has been applied to analysing literature such as Freud's psychoanalytical reading of E.T.A. Hoffman's The Sandman. But just like literature, many songs carry narratives, and it's just as valid to apply psychological precepts in order to help illuminate meaning in these songs. To help me explain how this relates to the wit of the staircase, I will look at an example that I think is similar to how the symbol of walking down a staircase is used in the wit of the staircase. Psychiatrist Eric Berne, in his book Games People Play, notes the symbolic action of slamming a bedroom door in the psychological game Uproar. Slamming the bedroom door represents the end of the game Uproar, which is characterised by an irreconcilable conflict between two household members. Slamming the bedroom door therefore doesn't necessarily mean, although it often does, that one individual is angry, but the first to do so in the quarrel represents acquiescence, but contradictorily also expresses an unwillingness to say that they're wrong, while also highlighting the fact that the two individuals have separate areas, which is code for "I don't want your presence in my life right now." All expressed without words but with one physical, behavioural action. This can be compared to the action of walking down the staircase in The Wit of the Staircase being symbolic for ending a relationship, and much of the rest of the song's instrumental and lyrical meaning is illuminated by recognition of this symbol. Those who may have listened to this song already may have noted that Klinghoffer never directly states that he's walking down the staircase, in which case I would point you to the main motif of the song, which is the first thing you hear in the song after a few drum taps. Those who are familiar with music terminology may have noticed that they are descending scalic notes in steps, therefore the whole musical phrase makes up a staircase. Klinghoffer is also the pianist in this band, and so every time he plays this motif he is symbolically walking down the staircase, which again is a symbol for the ending relationship. This motif makes it clear that the auditory elements of the music informs the psychological discussion of the song rather than just its lyrics, and this is something that will come to prominence later on in the song. After the first chorus, the narrative of the song is complicated by the lyrics of the second verse. The first line, "You shouldn't have left me alone," indicates that it may have been Klinghoffer's partner who actually left him, or at least it was a mutual decision to end the relationship. This calls into question exactly how much autonomy Klinghoffer had in descending the staircase and ending the relationship. His lack of autonomy and mental health is shown to be destabilised even further when he mentions his paranoia in the second line. Going into the second chorus, the bass and drums rhythm combination feels much more confident than the first chorus. While this can be seen as a commonly used structuring technique that frequently gives songs a more pleasing shape, here it also indicates that Klinghoffer's persona is becoming more confident in his thought processes, as he alludes yet again to the psychological symbol of the staircase. The importance of this development is thrown into sharp relief in the first variation that follows it. With this newfound confidence, the staircase piano motif is played by itself under Klinghoffer's vocals, which highlights a new clarity in which he's thinking about this disintegrating relationship. This is, however, sharply disturbed by turbulence from the rest of the instruments in a call and response like backing. And then a fantastic choice in production is made here. Whereas most other artists would try to make the turbulent responses from the distorted instruments louder for the sake of auditory cogency, Dot Hacker chooses to make the mess of instruments only as loud as the piano, giving them a subdued, numb feeling. The potency of this is brought into light when considering the lyrics being sung at the point of this song, "Play it, come the time we will fall in love, forever, forever." The idea of them falling back in love at this point of the song is contradictory to the narrative and the symbolism of the staircase, and so Klinghoffer comes across as becoming deluded, and so the turbulent instrumentation comes to represent and emphasises this disintegration of Klinghoffer's mental health. This then raises the question of why do Dot Hacker then choose to have the staircase motif highlighted so strongly in this section of the song, if it's the relationship disintegrating that's being called into question. Again, it would be lazy to explain this away by the auditory pleasantry of having the piano motif contrasted with the turbulence of the response instruments. Instead, what we are given is further insight into the nature of the disintegrating relationship and the state of mind that Klinghoffer is in. Again, we can look into psychology to help illuminate what's going on here, more specifically Kubler-Ross's model of grief. While this model was initially designed to look at grieving the dead, psychologists have also noted its application to the death of relationships in general as well, that being the topic of this song. When looking at this model, it becomes apparent that Klinghoffer's persona is going through the most psychologically tempestuous phase in this model, bargaining. The bargaining stage involves the hope that the individual can avoid a cause for grief. In less serious trauma, such as a breakup, this usually means attempting to bargain or seek compromise, which is exactly what we're hearing here as conflicting instrumental themes bounce off each other in an attempt to reconcile an irreconcilable situation. And Klinghoffer unconvincingly assures himself that the relationship will reseal itself. This desperation at bargaining is then realised by Klinghoffer as he sings the first climax of the song, they'll find me when I wash up." The role that mental health plays in this song up until this point has been hinted at with both the instrumentation and the lyrics, but it's after this first climax that we see how this has affected Klinghoffer personally in the softer section that follows. The lyrics here portray someone who is going crazy and seeing things leading up to the second climax of the song. They're out there, I've seen them out there, I'm not crazy, I'm not crying wolf, I'm not crazy, I see them out there, in the real world, out my window, and they're all right in my head now, behind my eyes. Far more than just being a fantastic portrayal of someone going mad, this section then brings into sharp awareness Klinghoffer seeing things physically that are not there. This leads into another final set of iterations of the staircase motif, and with the visual delusions in mind, the symbolism of the staircase is transformed. It's played exactly the same way as it's played at the beginning of the song, but the variations of the staircase become all the more potent as how this is interplayed by the turbulence of the other instruments creates its own narrative and meaning purely by drawing upon the thematic associations of the instrumentation, which I will break down now. The first two iterations are fairly straightforward. The descending steps are the symbolic action of going down the staircase and ending the relationship, and this is interplayed with the turbulence of the mental health that the instruments provide. The third iterance is strikingly different. Here, the descending piano doesn't make it all the way down the staircase as familiarised by the first two iterations, but goes down and then jolts back up, halts the music in a jumpy moment of shock before being interplayed with the same turbulence from the other instruments. This clearly represents doubt in the symbol of the staircase and the ending of the relationship, probably because it's causing so much turbulence and this destabilising mental health. From a physical standpoint, this also represents only being able to go partway down the staircase and just being unable to go the full way. This imagery is then brought to its final conclusion with the fourth and final iteration, in which the piano starts descending the staircase but then works its way back up to a higher point than where it started. And so here the auditory imagery indicates Klinghoffer's persona rejecting the symbol of the staircase and or wanting to put it in reverse in a realization that descending it is causing so much suffering. Calling back to the statement in the choruses of the song, "I should have said it before I'd gone," i.e. I should have said it before I descended the staircase, which has left Klinghoffer in this state of ruin. The denouement of the song allows the instruments to breathe away their paranoia as Klinghoffer croons, "I'm fine, fine," unconvincingly in the background, which allows the listener to infer how much closure the narrative of the song gives them, which I personally think is a good choice given how this song relies so heavily on symbols and very complex emotional and psychological behaviours which often don't have definitive solutions to the problems they bring. In summary, the way in which Dot Hacker intertwines the narrative of someone experiencing a breakdown of relationship with turbulent instrumentation and a piano motif that becomes a psychological symbol of a staircase through its connection with the lyrics provides an incredibly powerful representation of what such a breakdown can do to someone, and in my view makes it an outstanding song, and one that deserves as much attention as it can get. This song can be listened to on Bandcamp or Spotify for free, but if you like what you hear, please support the band by purchasing the song or album. If you enjoy this kind of music analysis, please let me know by liking this video, and please consider subscribing to my channel. If you want to tell me how wrong my analysis is, then please let me know in the comments section below. But until next time, stay awesome.